Hi everyone, and welcome to That Board Game Show. My name is Mark, and today we will be doing an overview of Agricola Family Edition. Agricola Family Edition is a very interesting strategic game for 2 to 4 players. Throughout the game, you are going to be collecting wood, clay, grain, and reeds. With these resources, you will be able to build extra rooms to get more people so you can do more actions. Later on, you can use wood to get pastures so that you can keep your boars, your sheep, or your cattle. All the animals are worth points at the end of the game. Your resources, if you get various tiles, can also be worth points at the end of the game. The interesting dynamic with this game is once a player has taken a space for a particular turn, no one else is able to do that same action. So the strategy comes in planning ahead, trying to see what your opponents are doing, and also bearing in mind that as the rounds go on, there will be a harvest time. At harvest time, you can reap your grain, you can have your animals multiply if you have a pair of them at least, but you also need to feed each of your farmers. If you can't feed your farmers with food, then you get a starvation marker. And at the end of the game, this is going to lose you 3 points. So while it's all great fun getting all the animals and building all the rooms and doing all the upgrades, if you can't feed your people, it's going to be a bit of a problem. These pieces are very beautifully done. They're all in different shapes. So it's very easy to identify the clay from the grain, from the reed, from the wood. And as you can see, they get placed out at various places. If no one were to take that in a particular round of play, we would just add an extra sheep. So sometimes you could delay using a particular spot to get more of a particular resource. The game only lasts 14 rounds, and as you move along the turn track, you'll notice that there are squares relevant to each round. As you pass these actions become available. So during the first round, you'll really only have this part of the board to play with. The further along you get, so if we get to turn 6, for example, now a boar would come out and you would be able to place your meeple there to take the boar. If you don't have any pastures, it's not a problem. You can have at least one pet living in your house. So if you've ever wanted a pet boar, this would be a nice way to try it out. Later on, though, if you want to get more than one, you would have to buy a pasture. You get stables to increase the number of animals that you can have in a particular pasture. You get your fields where you'll grow your grain. And then we have surplus tokens. Basically, if you run out of pieces, you can still get more. The number of resources that you have is not limited by the amount of pieces that are supplied in the game. This is the setup for a 2-player game. This card will allow you to set up for a 3 or a 4-player game. As you can see, beautifully colored pieces to easily distinguish one another. And you can have up to 5 people in your house if you have enough rooms. The key to Agricola is resource management. As I've mentioned before, if you're not able to feed your people, that does pose a problem. So by planning ahead, you can cover the fact that you will need to feed your people and perhaps get a few steps ahead of anyone else that you're playing against. So the planning and the strategy as to where to go, perhaps you grow your family so that you have more actions than your opponents, is going to help you get the resources that you need. Without the resources, you're pretty much stuck. And then your farmers are going to starve and you're just going to lose points. So strategy, resource management, those are the keys. And if you're a good strategist and you're very good at managing resources, I think this game's really going to appeal to you. And it's got so much replayability because maybe someone's learned how you like to play, then you can change up your strategy and really throw them out, and they're trying to emulate what you've done. So the adaptability is very, very interesting. The wonderful thing about Agricola Family Edition is the fact that it is an introduction to resource management games. There is a version of Agricola which is much more advanced than what this is. So this is a great way to find out if this is the type of game that appeals to you. And if so, great way to be introduced to it. And from here, you can go to much more advanced resource management games. Agricola is suitable for children from the ages of about 8 upwards, and it can be played as a solo game, just by yourself, all the way up to 4 players. Thank you so much for joining me today as I showed you Agricola Family Edition. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, bye-bye.